Good afternoon. I think all the timing I have just admitted to all the people from all over the world. And it's pleasure for me. I'm Sulochana Sigera. Pleasure for me to welcome you all for the Global Women in Management Global Leadership Launch as well as the Women's Day Special Forum. So before I proceed, I have to thank Colombo Conference, Prageet, because they have been our event partner for local and many global events for past 8 years, who who has been with Women in Management and who is a product of Colombo University. Thank you very much, Colombo Conference, for hosting this event virtually online. Moving forward, I won't introduce the speakers because Fazila will be the moderators. Fazila will be introducing. In meanwhile, I'll just share about what is women in management and who we are and what we are doing and why we are doing it. Because there are so many organizations does similar things, but then again, why we are unique, and we think we are unique, and hope you all also think like that. And because one thing I always say, being a WIM member, you have to enjoy your life. So WIM is about the passion and enjoyment. So I hope you all will see my screen. I'm just about to share. Everyone can see the screen. So all these details which I'm sharing with you all can see on our website, which is www.womeninmanagement.org, right? Uh, the second slide, can you all see my screen, Fazila?
Yes, we can
Yes,
see.
can.
Thank you. Women in Management was founded in year 2010 with just 2 members from Sri Lanka, right? And that's how the inception happened. And then today, locally and globally, we have approximately 5,000 members in 7 chapters. So I always say, don't feel small to start small, because somewhere to start. Then we launched the Top 50 Professional and Career Women Awards with 5 awards in year 2011. And today, locally and globally, we have recognized over 1,300 people. Why I say people? Because I don't want to put in gender boxes. People in 29 countries. And empowered more than 50,000 women entrepreneurs since 2011, locally and South Asia-wise. Granted more than 7,300 to 500 education scholarship for single mothers, children of single mothers. Mentored more than 3,000 women and youth for career leadership. While we are talking now, there is a mentorship program parallelly going for 55 youth, which is happening online virtually. With the demo director HR, who is doing the HR youth mentorship program. Provided career opportunities for more than 400 women and youth in private sector, and conducted more than, I think, more programs on corporate leadership, all that were respectful workplaces program for corporates. We have been providing a lot of corporates program just to ensure that we are in line with the governance best practices globally. Then I like to introduce my chapter leaders. Which I'll start from Varuni. I think Varuni is a Varuni Algama, who is heading the Sri Lankan chapter, who's from digital background and also from customer care. Then Minna Faiz, who became I think 1 month ago, not even 1 month, a mother for the second baby, who's here who's from media background. So Minna Faiz is heading the Maldives. Devika, who has been the leading the chapter of Canada, who's by profession a lawyer. Then we have Professor Dr. Selvaraj and Pille, By the background, he is educator and from professional university background. Then we have our own Nagozi. If she was here, it would have been really bubbly. She is the one who heads Women Commonwealth for Africa, as well as she has businesses in Nigeria as well as UK. Then our own Venkatesh Mahadevan, who when I took it globally, first global event was happening in UAE for 23 countries. He's the first person who met with me, who helped me, and who gave me the background about UAE in Dubai. So I always respect him because he has never met me over the phone from LinkedIn only. But after we met, we have been together like everything. He supports me. So that is Venkatesh. I call him Venki. Then from UK, Aradhana is taking over. Aradhana comes from board level experience as well as hotel industry, hospitality industry. From the I think she is more on a global platform, even though she lives in UK, but she's in Saudi Arabia, Dubai, you name it, she's always on somewhere. So that's Aradhana Kola. So these are the chapter leaders who has dedicated their time, their energy to provide women in management networking to their countries and their fellow members. Sorry. Then the countries we are the partnered and has been recognized under the top 50. If you look at, I'm not going to read, we have 29 countries. I think whole map is here, and all these countries, the women, despite of from their backgrounds, but the where they have achieved, the uniqueness has brought them together. And I'm happy to say to date, every one of them has connection with WIM and personally with me. I'm so happy. This is why we wanted to put up the global chapter, because we have so much of women leaders who has made history and who are ready to mentor so many women. So I was thinking, why should I keep them for myself? I should be sharing this opportunity. So this is the main reason the global chapter was open. Uh, so about the global membership, it's designed to empower, inspire women across the globe by providing a platform. It's a change maker, entrepreneur, equity, foster innovation. It's everything. It's about everything we are going to discuss. It's not only for corporate, it's not only for entrepreneurs, it's not only for change makers, it's for everyone. So it's for people platform which we want to create. Um, then who can join? Any women professional leader in corporate or public and non-profit sector can join. And also entrepreneurs and business owners with an international outlook or presence, students and young professionals aspiring to be global change makers, organization that supports women empowerment and leadership. Um, WIM Global website will feature a dedicated page where members can put their. So when you after you become a member, it's a mini LinkedIn that we are providing. When I say it's a mini LinkedIn, what I'm saying is uh, where members can go and have their own page and tell about them to the other members in any country. So it's something that we are opening up end of March. It's on a test these days. It's on a test basis. So we have done few this thing, and we are trying to launch it, but before end of March, it will be in action. Um, I think who Pragit, you have to accept people. I get a lot of notification. WIM Global will host two exclusive online business match meetings annually, providing members with valuable networking and collaboration. So, what we wanted to bring for this table is virtual business match-up meetings. So, for members who are looking for partnership, business opportunities, ventures, investment, We are trying to hold a virtual business matchmaking online annually. So that's something that we have already created that platform, and we have created that rooms. Very soon you will, after we receive adequate membership, we are trying to put that on and put a virtual business matchmaking meeting. Then the other one is Blueprint Business Idea Venture. I think Chaturika is here. So Chaturika's company has initiated. I have gone through this. The co-founder actually presented it to me for women who are reaching 40 above, who are now in an age that they are okay to leave their career and be their own CEOs and own business owners. There is a AI tool which will be launched for women over 40s, which we will get more details after you become a member. Then the WIM Foundation and WIM Global Integration. So we are actually putting WIM Foundation in the global chapter that to ensure that countries who has more members will receive at least some CSR project initiative to do some financial grants through Women in Management Global Foundation, because we wanted to ensure to give back to the society. um, the other one is participating exclusive global forum summit workshops. We have a lot of workshops going on, lot of trade businesses that we get lot of invitations. So we wanted to put it to global members also. The global leadership can post it, and if anyone of want to advertise for their conferences, forums, or they want speakers, they can request from them. And also it's a win-win situation. Enhance your skills. So we have a lot of training, mentorship programs. When you look at the leadership which is coming for the global leadership, you will realize that what are we having. So WIM Global membership benefits. One is the existing WIM chapter members will receive non-screen approval. So if you are a member of a chapter which is already existing, you will not go through a screen in this thing, and also you have a discount on the membership. Others will have the standard application process. WIM leadership pathway members with 2 years of active participation can become global mentors after completing at least one mentorship program. After you are being a member for 2 years with WIM Global, you can become a mentor, but you have to go through one of the mentorship programs which we are putting up, because we do not want the when WIM represent, we want to ensure that you go out with our value system and the skill system. Because if you look at some of the global mentors we are bringing, I think it will be really good. After 3 years, you all can apply for the leadership roles, which is win-win situation on financially also. So these are our, sorry. These are our global leaders. Tess is here, one of our top 50 award winners. I always say award-winning filmmaker. I love Tess' enthusiasm activity from USA. And then my own good friend, Dr. Mariam Shakila, at this moment she's joining from UK, who brings a lot of knowledge from political to, from business to, from social work. And my motivator, Shahara, who is one of the trailblazers in Sri Lanka, who has done amazing work very silently, and who always stand up for women. Then Nagosi, we have a very good friend, very loyal friend from Africa, whom I met in India and became one of the best friends for many years. So sad that she couldn't join. Then our own top 50 award winner, Mariam Khan from Pakistan. She does amazing. If you follow her from LinkedIn, you will know her amazing work. From our UK chapter EXCO member, Dr. Podley Ottomans. I have a huge respect to her because I follow all her TED Talks. Roshani Jayasundar. So Roshani today is sick. I have to tell Roshani. Roshani is the first person for every chapter. When I wanted to launch, she became my sponsor for all the chapters. Wherever she has been in the companies, she has always said, Sulo, go, I will help you out. That's what she has done. So I have got a lot of mentors and friends who have helped me. helped me. Then Wendy, I'm very grateful to Professor Selvaraj for introducing me her, because I met her thrice, but physically, but on Eve meeting we have met so many times. And I actually bought the book, Wendy, but I couldn't read. She's someone you have to look up for. One of the young media personality who is creating different media level in Sri Lanka as well as in UK. UK Exco member Rishini Veeraratna. I think Sri Lankans many know, but she's someone who's looked up for because she will change media globally. So these are the people who are leading the global leadership. You can just Google www.womeninmanagement.org and go for the chapter, global chapter. You can see who can become a member. Membership form is there, and it's everything is there, and it's so easy. Be part of a global this thing, because if you want to be a global person ready to be networking with global, you don't need money to get a plane ticket and meet people when you have all the AI tools and virtual tools. So this is what I'm saying, and welcome to all the participants and the leadership. Thank you for accepting my invitation and becoming one of my global leadership team member and the chapter leader. Thank you so much for your commitment. And I'm handing over to the panel discussion to Fazila Dharmaratna, our own WIM Exco member and one of our top 50 award winners, who has been with WIM for past 4 to 5 years. So she will be taking the forum forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Salo, and I'm sure everyone present here today is quite amazed and inspired by that journey that WIM has taken, the direction WIM has taken, and very proud members right now to be a part of this journey and keep moving forward. And I'm absolutely privileged to be in the company of such a eminent panel discussing such a current, hot, relatable topic, women leaders in the age of AI. So without further ado, Dr. Sulu has already given a small brief on the speakers today, which she introduced in the global leaders. So we have with us today Tess Cacciatore, and I'm in advance apologizing in the event I make a few mistakes on the pronunciations. She is CEO, founder, executive director of Global Women Empowerment Network. Dr. Mariam Shakila of Maldives, honorary consul to Belgium in Maldives. Shahara De Silva, independent non-executive director, Family Planning Association of Sri Lanka. Mariam Khan from Pakistan, vice president of South Asia Women Development Forum. Dr. Paul D. Ottoman, principal and chair of Ottoman Institute, co-founder of Teddy AI. Roshani Javadar Moraes is unfortunately unable to be with us today because she is unwell, and we wish her a speedy recovery. Wendy Keane from USA, founder and managing director, S2E Transformation Incorporation, and a dynamic media personality in Rishini Veeraratna, Sri Lanka and UK. So welcome, ladies, and thank you for accepting our invitation today for this very enlightening discussion. So let me direct our first question to Wendy and Shahara. So our first question is, how would you describe your leadership style and how has it evolved with the rise of AI? I'll repeat the question. How would you describe your leadership style and how has it evolved with the rise of AI? Over to you, Shahara and Wendy.
Shahara, would you like to start?
Would you like to? I could go first. Are you?
That sounds perfect. Yeah.
Okay. So I think my leadership style, I thought, was basically empathetic and very people-centered. But I think one of the ingredients that a lot of the people are very fond of me who I have led across the years have also teased me that I have my own brand of chaos theory. And that part of the way I energize teams and I empower them is that I throw a ton of information, ideas, I'm sort of pushing people to think of things in a million and one ways. And I create a lot of sort of what ifs. Shall we do this? Shall we do that? And somewhere along the way, they say initially it feels like they're in some kind of a whirlwind. Eventually, they understand that I have their back, and to some extent, I am very people-centered. And they've actually enjoyed that, but it takes time. So I think initially people in my teams are wondering, is this woman nuts or what? Yeah, and so the second part of the question is also how perhaps AI has how I've evolved to embrace AI. Funnily, because I'm innately curious and I'm sort of a person who's always pushed people to try and find out, as walk into the room and know the most about anything, is that fairly early on, given the fact that I'm pretty old, I started reaching out and working with tech companies who were in data and in machine learning. And I think that has helped me a lot being ahead of my curve, particularly as I sit on boards, and usually quite a few people in boards are slightly much more mature or older. And I've had the privilege of being a little more immersed with fairly big companies working in this space. And I think that comes from my sort of strategy background and the fact that I do have, for all my kind of lateral thinking, I do have a kind of research-based, data-based approach to information and challenges. But you, Wendy?
Yeah, I love all of that. I think I would characterize my leadership style as mission-driven, which is very focused on outcomes and people that we're serving, with a lot of empowerment and collaboration among team and partners, and just a lot of coaching, mentoring, collaborating, role modeling for each other. So that's the style. As far as rise of AI and how it's impacted that, I think it's made us a lot more, we're always curious, we're always learning, but even more curious and open to evolution, trying things. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Just being open to what people are bringing to the table. And it's not just for, leveraging AI operationally or for efficiency, but, big ideas around what does this actually mean to our business model? How can we evolve strategically in ways that we couldn't before? And I also think that AI has caused me to, I'll say, double down on a couple of my values. One is being human-centered. And, as a team, we are fiercely client focused. But I think even more with, some more automations and more tools that we have, we're even more human focused and more worried about, the experience and the care of people, and really being empathetic, as you said, Shahara, and how we're caring for them. And the second is true thought leadership. So that's a core value. It's in the DNA of our organization, but especially when we have so much great articulate information available with Gen AI, really making sure that we're putting forth well thought through perspectives that truly push the boundaries. So those are just a couple reflections from me.
Thank you very much, Wendy and Shahara. So just to give a little more context onto their backgrounds, which, makes their answers very closer to our hearts, is Shahara she holds many leadership board directorship roles in public sector, private sector, and non-profit organizations in Sri Lanka and Malaysia. So, nice to hear the context of all these latest developments and how it's taking you forward, Shihara. And Wendy is recognized globally as a highly sought out pioneer, thought leader, educator, and has written author of 2 books in the related topics as well. So thank you for that enlightenment, Wendy and Shihara. And my next question is to Dr. Shakila. So the question is, what adjustments should women leaders make to align their leadership styles with AI-driven decision making? The question is, what adjustments would women leaders make to align their leadership styles with AI-driven decision making?
Thank you, Fazila. Thank you, Dr. Slochana, for this opportunity, and also happy Women's Day. I think every day is Women's Day. So since we are having this forum for that, I wish everyone happy International Women's Day. Now, in my experience, I think one of the first things that women leaders should do is to adopt their leadership style to align with AI-driven decision-making, and also leverage AI's strengths while preserving their effectiveness. As technology continues to influence workplace dynamics, aligning leadership with AI will continue to be an evolving challenge for women leaders all over the world. So there are several adjustments that I feel women leaders should consider. For example, to thrive in an AI-driven landscape, women leaders must embrace data literacy and deepen their understanding of analytics and AI tools, enabling informed decision-making, and also effective advocacy for AI within their organizations, because there are a lot of people within all our organizations who are still very skeptical about the idea, who hesitate to use AI, although we know that, without using technology, without using digitization, without using artificial intelligence, we will never be able to stand on our feet properly, because competitions from everywhere is challenging us. And I also feel that as women leaders should cultivate a collaborative culture that values diverse perspectives, and balancing AI insights with human intuition and emotional intelligence to foster inclusivity and also build trust within the organization. I also feel that encouraging experimentation and maintaining agility and focusing on ethical consideration will empower teams to innovate while addressing biases and data privacy issues that they have, which they are very hesitating. Now, continuous learning and building strong networks are also vital for staying informed and sharing best practices. Effective communication of AI's values within your organization, and making sure that you engage in mentorship with the people, especially with those people who hesitate, will enhance acceptance and guidance in navigating tech-driven environments. By setting clear expectations for AI integration and advocating for diversity in AI development, I think women leaders can create a balanced approach that leverages both AI capabilities and human judgment, ultimately enhancing their effectiveness while maintaining their unique leadership strengths. So by embracing these adjustments, I feel that women leaders can enhance their effectiveness in an AI-driven landscape, and that will ensure that they harness technology as a powerful tool for decision-making while maintaining their unique leadership strengths. That's my answer to that. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Dr. Shakila. And Dr. Shakila is, apart from her diplomatic position that she currently holds, is also the Vice President of SAARC Chamber of Commerce Maldives chapter and President of the Women Chamber of Commerce. So thank you very much for your insights, Dr. Shakila. And our next question goes out to Rishini and Dr. Paul D. Do you believe
Did
AI
Rishini,
is...
excuse Fazila, did Rishini join?
I
No, right?
believe she did.
No, you can ask from Dr. Podley, and when Rishini comes, you ask her.
All right. Hi, Dr. Baldi. So the question to you is, do you believe AI is making leadership more inclusive, or does it present new biases and barriers for women? Very relevant. Over to you.
Thank you. And thank you very much for the invite, for contributing to the panel today. It's really lovely to be here amongst all these inspiring women. In relation to the question, I do believe that AI can enhance inclusive leadership. If we're thinking about, for example, AI-driven tools, they can promote objectivity in hiring, for instance, by making that process more data-driven. They can also mentorship opportunities to support women in leadership, for instance, with the data that can now be used for mentoring instead of, just relying purely on intuition, which often is biased, as we all know. Additionally, AI can help also detect biases in workplace, for instance, in the policies, and highlight gender disparities that then, senior management can take and, make changes. But with AI, we should also be really wary, because at the end of the day, AI is all about its data. And that's where ego comes in. Garbage in, garbage out. So AI can also reinforce biases and barriers. And if it's trained on a biased data set, well, you're not really going to get a great outcome, because then it perpetuates probably the gender inequalities in hiring and promotion. So we really need to take a step back, I think, and really look at what data is used to train that particular AI, what data is it relying on? Because if that's not the data that's biased, that has a lot of problems with it, we're really not getting the outcome we want. And also a lack of sort of transparency when it comes to AI decision making, and underrepresentation of women in AI development can further sort of entrench, these disparities. So I think these are also important elements that we need to take into consideration when we're looking at, the way AI can enhance inclusive leadership. Also, unequal access to AI tools may sort of widen that leadership gap. And that is really key, because the access to these tools should really be universal, and not, giving initially, for examples, to, let's say, the tech team, to start, playing around and using these tools. And in most organizations, unfortunately, still the tech team is inherently mostly men. So then the disparities will only grow when it comes to the leadership. And finally, I think, leadership is about being able to set a clear vision, motivating, empowering your team, making informed decisions, also delegating effectively, being a great communicator, right? Then AI can also be seen really as a productivity enhancing tool to give you as a leader, more productivity and free up the time, which you can then really use and allow you to spend your time as a leader better and much more focused. That's my take on this question. Thank you.
Thank you for that very, very comprehensive answer, Dr. Poldi. And we just heard from a female tech leader in the UK. She has been awarded as the inspirational woman in the tech industry by Hustle Awards, and also one of the 22 most influential women in the UK in 2022 Startup Magazine. So something we can all take from that answer on AI-driven future. So thank you, Dr. Poldi, for that. We move on to the next question, and I'd like to direct it to Tess. And to Tess. So this is a very, very interesting question. And I'm sure many of you would love to hear her insights on this. How can women ensure they remain safe and protected in an AI-driven digital world? I'm sure most of us have some form of experience or a known party who have faced issues on this and are, very, very skeptical and paranoid, I might say at times. So it's a very interesting question. Over to you, Tess, for your views on that.
Yes, thank you so much. I concur with all the other women. It's such a blessing to be on this global panel with amazing people. So thank you so much. It's a loaded question and one that I gingerly tiptoe into because it's loaded with a lot of security issues. I personally was in Washington, D.C. during the Whistleblower Film Festival a couple summers ago. I was able to see firsthand someone who's been investigating the underbelly of tech giants and what has been happening with the pornography and the child exploitation, which is a really near and dear topic to me, and I'm sure passionate for everybody on the panel and beyond. There's just a lot of things that are going on underneath the surface. And I think we're finally in the opportunity to shed a light on it. When I was there, I actually saw pornography, AI-driven Taylor Swift before it came out in public. So I knew it was coming down the pipeline. And people that I would try to privately share that with said, no, there's no way. She has huge law firms and teams that people that are watching for this. No, it is so underground that even her team was not aware of it. 6 months later, after I saw this with my own eyes, it did get exposed, and thank God for her fan base. Not all of us have a fan base like Taylor Swift that could actually stand up and say, we demand that you take that down. We demand that you have better safety features in the internet. During that time, we had in the entertainment industry a strike. So Fran Drescher leading the way of our union really had to come to terms with the AI-driven properties. So I'm using the celebrity as an example because that's the ones that are hitting most. But there's also young teenagers, underage school kids, kids from all over the world that are part of trafficking in this situation. And I take it very seriously. So I think what we need to do is really be aware of what's going on in our countries, be aware of what's going on in our Congress in the United States here. First Lady is now doing something with the Take It Down Act. So we need to get behind the people that are supporting having the big tech giants be accountable and be responsible and really admit what's going on underneath. As far as our everyday all of us, just keeping your securities tight. Don't put a lot of stuff on your profile. Just be very, very safe and diligent on that way. I'm very passionate about what we can do as a global community of women right here on this call to be, join forces and really find out what we can do to protect the children. That's what I feel like my mandate is for. That's, the awards and the filmmaking is one thing, but it's really about the messaging. And I really just want to say, I invite you all to join forces to see what we can do to protect the children.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Tess. That's food for thought indeed. And you just listened to an award-winning filmmaker, director, and best-selling author dedicated to bringing cultures through empowering educational and inspirational books, films, music, and social impact projects. So very relevant. Thank you, Tess, for that. So let's move on. This question is directed to Mariam Khan and Wendy. What measures should be in place to prevent AI from reinforcing gender biases in workplaces? What measures should be in place to prevent AI from reinforcing gender biases in workplaces? Shall we start off with Mariam, please?
Okay, thank you, Fazila. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Solchana, for inviting us here for this event. Listening to everybody, I think it's an honor to be here. About gender bias, as speaking from Pakistan, I think the country that, the population has increased around 51% with women. So we are having actually in offices, the management, the same job is given lesser salaries to the women. We've been looking at it for a very long time. So I think through AI, we need to generate role reversals, that there should not be CV, the names and things, only skills should be mentioned there. So people can just check with the overall experience. Otherwise, the experiences are there, but the past data, the things that people usually use, the women do not get the same jobs with the same skills. So we would say the CV swap experiment should take place, that the same roles, if you just put the female names there, and the guys who are working for the jobs, they should get the female names, and the females should get guys' name, and you understand how the biases is there, which we can take it out actually from AI. So, which is the blind hiring test. So actually, at times when we used to say initially, the women should not be asked about marriages, and the women should not be asked about their, overall family setups and things which were prohibited in the conversations for hiring women. But I think now the gender bias for being a woman and having those skills are also a challenge for us, and which needs to be addressed. Secondly, I think we have been talking about, watchdogs, which are usually looking at human rights watchdogs, and we should create AI watchdogs as well, which should be looking at independent media, overall looking at monitoring and report bias to corporate AI tools, because like these some things that needs to be reported, and when reporting of AI bias should also be given that credit, the rewards. Usually the companies give the just offer rewards for finding software bugs. So these AI, I think, problems, reports, biases should be rewarded as well, like we reward other things. There's another thing, I'm sure it must be around other countries as well, but we are facing in Pakistan, which is that Pakistan has lack of property ownership in the name of the women. So due to which digital banking inclusion for women becomes a problem, because they do not have the property rights, they do not get the loans. So in that also, I think AI needs to be given different options, different possibilities for those biases that are generated within different countries. Lastly, from my background, I'm a marketing person as well. So there is a very interesting algorithm ads issue as well, which is very, male-driven industries that are put into a record that, the ads are not visible. So the women-led businesses do not get that much reach on media as well through ads and everything, because there is a problem there. So I think overall, making gender inclusivity with everything, the data that I think Dr. Ploddy talked about, it's very important how it has been created, because in the back histories, I think that data had a lot of biases for women around. So I think if we are looking at these things, we might be able to take the biases out. Thank you, Fazila. Thank you.
Mariam, just fantastic measures. Really loved all of that. And to again echo what you said, Dr. Paldi said, and I see a message from Shahara, it is making sure that we have the right data, that we're training the AI with that is diverse, representative. That it definitely starts there. Also, Dr. Paldi, I loved a point you made. I'll say it a little bit different, but we can leverage AI as a force for inclusion, right? In terms of its objectivity. So it can be what we make it. And maybe I will also add another measure around the governance, the ethical, the AI governance, I think is really important in organizations. And having solid ethics that are not just a technology, not just an IT conversation, but they are a board conversation. They are a leadership conversation. They are embraced and understood throughout an organization. I work a lot with sort of large scale transformation and organization design, and even coming back to business ownership of processes and capabilities in data is really important, so that we are actually taking responsibility for what is done, and we have transparency of where we're leveraging AI, so that we can have that information and address anything as needed. Fazila, back to you.
Thank you for
Fazila, you're mute.
Sorry about that. So thank you, Mariam and Wendy, and a little bit of background to Mariam Khan from Pakistan. She's the Vice President of the South Asian Women Development Forum and Executive Committee member of the Federation of Pakistan Chamber of Commerce. So a lot of exposure and experience there. And we have one more question directed to Dr. Shakila. As AI continues to shape industries, what skills should women develop to maintain their leadership presence? Again, a much relevant question for the audience here. So over to you, Dr. Shakila.
Thank you, Fazila. Thank you very much. I think the answer to this question would very much relate to my answer to the first question as well. So one of the skills should also be like data literacy, technological proficiency, and also emotional intelligence, and the ability, adaptability, resilience, and agility, and also creative problem solving skills, along with strategic thinking, ability to strategically think, and also the mindset of collaboration and team building. And I think ethical leadership, which has been mentioned by Winda, is also very, very important because as AI raises ethical questions, understanding the implication of AI decisions and also advocating for a responsible use of AI is also vital. So women leaders should promote responsible AI use, which is extremely important, not just use AI and then be happy with it, and also prioritize ethical considerations in AI development and its implementation in the decisions that we make. And inclusivity, which has already been mentioned here by one of our speakers, and diversity advocacy is also very important, and networking and relationship building, and also public speaking and communication skills, I feel, is also extremely important because strong communication skills are essential for explaining complex AI concepts, and then also to teams, and then also to all the stakeholders, that depending on what organization you are. And women leaders also should enhance their presentation and overall communication abilities to share their vision and advocate for their teams effectively. And another skill that I think that women should build is also resilience and stress management, because along with use of AI, there's all sorts of stress that would come through, to try and, first of all, to understand that, to try and convince your people, your teams to embrace it. And then also with the data literacy, and also the threats, digital threats that come through, and which will become a huge issue. Will create mental health issues on everyone concerned. So these are a lot of things. And then also because AI will also be replacing, like, for example, humans in some form or the other, but also we feel that we also AI cannot work by itself alone. AI also needs human intervention to be there to make sure that whatever AI comes up with is relevant, and then that it is used effectively and ethically. And then also, I think we also require lifelong learning, adopting a mindset of continuous improvement, and lifelong learning skills is also vital in this rapidly evolving landscape. And leaders should also, women leaders should pursue training, mentorship, and also facilitate educational opportunities to stay updated on trends, emerging technologies, and then also the best practices. And another thing that is extremely important, which is often neglected in many cases, I think, is the cultural competence. So in an increasingly globalized world, understanding and respecting diverse cultures is also extremely important. And leaders should develop cultural competence to work effectively with international teams and clients, and ensuring that AI solutions are inclusive and relevant across different contexts. So by developing, and I feel by developing these skills, women in leadership will be able to maintain their presence and relevance in an increasingly AI-driven landscape, and that will ensure they continue to lead with confidence and authority amidst technological change. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Shakila. So we'll now move on. I can see like so many questions on the chat box. So we will move on to the audience questions. So you're all going to be on the hot seat, ladies. And we've first have a question from participant from Canada. Very interesting one. So it is, how do you handle generational challenges with Generation XYZ in AI-driven workplace? How do we handle the generational challenges that AI poses? Who in the panel would like to take on that question?
I don't mind giving it a go, and feel free others to add as well.
Thank you so much.
I think it's a lovely question to start with, so thank you very much. And I think it relates to what a few of the other panel members were talking about earlier, and particularly Dr. Shakila in her last answer. It's about lifelong learning, and everyone should embrace that word. Whereas we all have to be upskilled in AI literacy, in our ability to communicate and work with AI tools, because, well, AI is here. AI is here to stay, so we should use it responsibly, ethically, and in the best way possible. And for that, I think what's really going to be important are 3 C's, as we tend to call them. Communication. You need to be able to communicate not just with an AI, but also with these various generations. So we all need to also learn that, and it may be adapting different languages, as well as prompt engineering. We need to be able to communicate with the AI and get the most out of it. Creativity. By using the AI tools, and the younger generation is much more attuned to growing up with, social media and a digital world than potentially other generations. That's being creative, and how can we do that? And then we can enhance that as well with the use of AI tools, and it may free up some of our time. And the final C is for critical thinking, because we do need, and I think everybody has sort of touched on it in their answers, it's all about the data that goes into that AI. So we need to really critique always the output that it gives us and not sort of blindly take that. And I think that's potentially going to be a challenge when we're dealing with different generations, because for some of us, AI, we were at the forefront of it. We're leading some of the changes in there, as some people are using AI as they were using, Wikipedia many years ago, or how they're using it as a Google search. They now use an AI tool. And of course, we can all say whether that's right or wrong, but people are using it in different ways, I think, depending on which generation they are. I think that's really important that we take that with us when we are ourselves working with AI tools and working with people from different generations. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I also would like to add on to that one. Thank you very much. But also, I feel that, mentorship and reverse mentoring is also extremely important. That is what we try to do even in our organization, establish mentorship programs where experienced employees can guide younger ones, and reverse mentoring where younger employees can educate older colleagues about new technologies and trends. And then to foster an open communication culture, and then encourage dialogue between generations to understand different perspectives and experiences, I think would also help. And also to highlight AI as a support tool, and hence educate all employees about how AI can enhance their work rather than replace it. This can alleviate fears and encourage acceptance across generations, I think. And also, I also feel that, recognize and celebrate contributions, acknowledge the contributions of employees from all generations, and emphasizing how each group can add value in an AI-driven environment. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And
sorry, I would like to add a little.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, just like to add a little to that. I think what's also very important when you're using any different groups, be they men or women or different generations of people, is understanding that people come with different skill sets and different abilities. Yes. But at the same time, if you want a group to work with some degree of cohesion wherever they're coming from, so the younger people will be far more tech savvy on certain things, is to have very clear parameters in terms of certain values. So even the fact that AI is just omnipresent, and it's just, whether it's Google Maps to anything, we're constantly using it. It's just now a default setting. That's where we are. Is not arguing about, whether AI is in or out, but much more about how do we set certain parameters to validate that the data sets and the filters we're using is not just taking any garbage from everywhere in terms of how we filter our information. And that will come where increasingly there'll be filtered data sets which go to either peer-reviewed or approved sources of information, while still trying to get diversity. And those would be the challenges that everyone must conform to when they bring information or data or use AI in an organization particularly.
Thank you very much. And I think our chat box is going absolutely crazy. We've got like so many questions. So as much as we'd like to keep on going, because this is such a hot topic currently, we'd like the speakers to keep your answers brief so that we can entertain and accommodate many questions. We've got a question from Facebook Live, and this one too is very thought-provoking. So let's see who will take a go at it. So how would you see AI shaping the future of motherhood? Will it make parenting easier for young parents, or could it bring new challenges in raising children in the digital world? I can almost see many people nodding their heads right now for that question. So who would have a go at this? Mariam, would you like to go ahead? Mariam from Pakistan.
Okay, interesting. The question is very interesting because when I became a mother, I was 18. And at that time, it was not even, Google was not even there for the problems to be resolved. So I'm talking about 1994. So 95, when I became a mom, so the challenges that I faced at that point, I wish chat GPT or AI was there at that point to make it easier. But unfortunately or fortunately, this is how we will educate the women or the mothers to understand how to use this tool. It can be beneficial and it can equally be a problem, a difficult thing to handle as well. So everything which has been said there would not be correct. Everything which has been mentioned there requires more clarification. So to get to that, I think there is a lot of things that the young mothers have to do the research. So like Shakila said, I think the mothers, the grandmothers would be the tool to help them bridge between the current AI and the motherhood issues and the problems I think the young generation would face. And earlier also the question, I think they talked about generation X, Y, Z. So the Z moms are not there yet. So Gen Z might be young mothers, might be there, or we do not have the data to understand how would be their reactions to become a mother. Because when I meet a lot of young girls, actually, right now they're not ready for that responsibility. So in the younger generations, I think that aspect of taking the responsibility of becoming a mother is a more, questionsome or something that we all need to debate about, that why they have become scared of becoming the mothers. And in future, I hope they would be embracing this thing, because I think motherhood is the most beautiful thing that could ever happen, and it changes a woman altogether. So if somebody else wants to add, please, this is what it just comes to my mind. Thank you, Vazir.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mariam.
May I add something if there's no one else adding something?
We have several more questions to tackle and limited time.
Yeah, but just one,
Yes, okay,
maybe half a
go
minute.
ahead.
Yeah. But I feel that, AI can significantly enhance motherhood by providing personalized information on parenting, and also managing household tasks through smart devices and improving via wearable technology, and virtual assistants can help mothers organize schedules and offer emotional support through chatbot, while flexible work options can also facilitate better work-life balance, I think. And also the challenges, there will also be challenges in motherhood, like, over-reliance on technology may weaken personal interactions, and privacy concerns that will arise from data collection and et cetera, et cetera. So I mean, there's more that I can say about it, but then let me stop at that. Thank you.
I think that topic is like a separate webinar altogether, because I myself have so many questions coming into my mind about this, because we are all experiencing question marks on this, how to manage this.
I'll just disturb you, Fazila. I
Yeah.
think Dr. Podley came up with the panda thing on AI, which anyone, I would appreciate if Dr. Podley can put it on the chat, this thing, her speech she brought up on AI panda, which many of the young mothers and parents should be looking at. If you all can listen to that, she just amazingly put AI into a very practical this thing. Sorry to disturb you, I have to come in and put it. And Tess brought another child program separately for technology. So there are a lot of things were happening. So since I knew it, I just disturbed you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sulu. I'm sure all of us really appreciates that information. And we've got kind of a little bit of a different context question from Malaysia. AI generative text at times contains gender biases that perpetuate gender inequality in leadership. Does this hinder the advancement of gender equality in women leadership? Is the question clear? Do you want me to repeat it? It says AI generative text at times contains gender biases that perpetuate gender inequity in leadership. Does this hinder the advancement of gender equality in women leadership?
I'm happy to share a quick thought on that, and others please add. I think aligned with some of the things we've been saying, it could hinder the advancement of gender equality and women leadership if we let it. We've talked about the underlying data, but I've also think we've talked about some important things in terms of skills, even now bringing up our children about being very critical about the data and what we're reading. So, I think the interpretation is as important to learn as our excitement about the possibilities of AI. And if we look at it in the right perspective, I don't think it will hinder advancement. But others, please add.
I totally agree with what you said, Wendy. I think it's important that indeed we embrace that and look at the advantages and keep learning ourselves and critique and discuss it, particularly at places like this, bringing people together and discussing it because everyone has encountered different things and explores it and experiences in different ways. So I think we need to have more of these conversations and keep talking about it. So yeah.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Wendy and Tess, for your answers there. My video is playing up a little, so I hope I'm clear to all of you. Okay, so we've got one more question from Sri Lanka. We've got a lot more questions, but we are kind of filtering it to manage time. So AI often releases large amount of personal data. How do you balance innovation with individuals' right to privacy? Interesting question. AI often releases large amount of personal data. How do you balance innovation with individuals' right to privacy?
I think Tess should answer
Tess,
that. That's
yeah.
a documentary is on that, the book, the leadership program.
Tess, over to you.
Yes. So it goes back to what I was saying before. It's really about careful of what you put out there. And I know with all of us on social media, there's so much that's out there. We need to have our boundaries. We need to have our protection. We need to find out what tools we can use within AI that will protect us as well. I'm looking to see how we can advance this and how we can be more innovative in the protection side of things. So it's really about being mindful of what you put out there and knowing that AI is not here to replace people, but we need to protect ourselves.
Can I also add a tiny bit to that?
Yeah.
Very well said. And I also think we need to be mindful of what we use from people and how we use it. Clearly there's regulations on information and they vary in different countries or regions, but I also think it comes back to, if it's our organization, really companies or organizations, they create the world we live in. So it's really being respectful about people and not maybe looking at them as the product, but really how do we add value and how do we be very respectful to that privacy as well, where we can.
Absolutely.
Fazila, if I may add one small thing from a really technical point of view on this. It just will be 2 sentences. The technology is already there. You can run a large language model on your device, which means that your personal data no longer needs to leave your device. So you can talk to AI even when you're offline. Your data, whatever you don't want to share, doesn't need to leave the device, doesn't need to go to the cloud. So the technology is there. It's called Edge AI technology. But it's about obviously implementing this in as many products as possible. And at the moment, the majority of AIs that probably people use on a daily basis still use the cloud, where whatever you go in, give that, it becomes that company's data. So be mindful.
Right. Thank you, panelists. That was a lot of wisdom. And we'd like to wind things down now. Sadly so, because given if we do have more time, I mean, there are so many more questions. But I would like to make a request to the panelists to please give your message on this topic in maybe very brief, like 2-3 lines, message to our audience here, a key message from yourselves. So shall we start off with Wendy?
Sure. Sure. I will say the future is human. AI and technology can only make us bigger and better, but it comes back to our values. It comes back to how we use it, and let's just be the best humans we can be.
Thank you. Shahara, your message, please.
Shahara,
Sarah, is there?
you're mute, Shahara.
I think there's a bit of technical difficulty. Shall we move on to Dr. Shakila?
I think my message would be that AI should enhance human capabilities, but not replace them. And by leveraging AI as a tool for innovation, efficiency, and decision making, while prioritizing ethical standards and human oversight, and we can create a future where technology empowers individuals and promote collaboration and also uphold human values. That's my message.
Thank you, Dr. Shakila. Over to Dr. Poldi for your summary.
Yes, AI is here to stay, and we should work with AI as a partner in parallel with them and always keep the human in the loop.
Similar thoughts from everyone. And Tess?
My mic has come on. Can I speak?
Oh, Shahara, please.
Hi. Sorry, I had a small technical issue. Yeah, AI is definitely here to stay, and I think we have to make sure that the power of women in particular, but the power of the voiceless, is ramped up, because AI is about volume and content, and we are generally absent at the table. We are generally absent on the voice. And so we have to, especially women with power and access, have to make sure that there is enough content out there, valid content, skewing the conversation our way.
Thank you. Thank you, Shahara. Yes, over to you.
So I agree. AI is not going anywhere. So we get to embrace it. We get to learn from it. We get to stay connected and keep protected.
Thank you. And Mariam?
Yeah, so it's similar to everybody else that we should have a positive mind towards it, and our perception towards about AI, how we see the thing, half empty or half full. So I think we should all see it half full. It's going to help us out, but we should enter it with an open eye and mind, because when we agree to something, we should read through all the points that have been given there for our own privacy. We should be very aware of it, and we should be ready to make this as a supporting hand, as Shakila said, and being there for us as a support. It cannot change the the empathy bit. So we all need AI as technology to use it.
Thank you, panelists. You've been absolutely great and inspirational. So one thing we can all agree on is that AI is here to stay. Learn to live with it, get the best out of it. And what I liked most about all your messages is keep the values intact. And if we can do that, if we keep our values intact and embrace it, I think we are all in for the ride, and we are all in to gain rather than loss. Dr. Sulochana, any words from you in to end our very, very interesting webinar today?
No, I just want to say it's so inspiring, and you all only see the messages you're getting from the chat, but it's from all 5 chapters, Facebook. So many messages are coming with questions. I'm really, if we can go for another hour, 1 hour, but we can't, because the time is limited, and you all committed to your time. I know, Shahara, you must be really sleeping. It's 3 or 4 a.m. There, I have to wake you up. But thank you so much. And I think what one of the key points everyone shared is AI is here. Are we ready? Yes, we have to be ready, but don't forget to be a human. That's what we all have to remember. And I ending this thing, thanking all the speakers, the global leaders, and the participants online and on the Zoom and live on all chapters. I just want you all to check on the website, get the mentorship program will be published, and you will get a lot of opportunity. These are amazing women, just not only women, we have the male champions which are coming on the mentorship programs, and get it connected, go to global. You don't, as I said, a lot of women do not invest on mentorship, and companies do not make sponsorship for women to mentor. So this is the opportunity for all of us, which we have created a global platform where 29 countries are there. I didn't want to keep it for myself. I want to share. So use that opportunity and be part of it. And thank you so much to everyone. I'm just going to say good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and from Sri Lanka, good night.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sulo. Thank you so much. I also would like to suggest that, we hold a forum again on the same subject, because I think it is extremely important, because we were not able to address some of the questions that were even pre-prepared as well. And then along with that, a lot of questions came on the chat box that we had to answer as well. So I suggest that one of these days we organize another forum. Thank you so much. Thank you all the speakers. I really learned a lot from each one of you. And your insights, your experiences helped a lot. Thank you.
So good night from Sri Lanka, and thank you once again, and hopefully we will see you soon for that next edition of AI topic. Good night. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.